So here we are in Rive, and I've set up a very simple clock, which is made up of a big circle for the dial and then 3 strokes for the rotations. And I put the origin point of each one at the bottom of the shape here in the center. What we're going to do here is we're going to data bind each of the hands here to the view model, then add some simple calculations to get what we need. Firstly, we are going to add 3 numbers, which will be time sec, time min, and as you can probably guess, time hour. So we go to second, we go to rotation, data bind, time sec, and Rive has helpfully put in this degrees to radians converter, which allows us to use that number in a rotation value, which is super handy. We go to min hand rotation, data bind that to the min, and we go to hour, and we data bind that to hour. And now with our preview button turned on up here, and if we click here to see our values that are changeable, we can start playing with the numbers, and you see that they are rotating around. What you will notice though is that they are not corresponding to what we kind of assume to get a clock. So you know, if I put this 10 o'clock, well, that's not 10 o'clock, that's not 30 minutes, and that's not 45 seconds. So now we are going to add a conversion that would allow us to put in numbers that we would expect to use on the clock and have it update live. So to do this, we're going to use a converter group. So we go to plus converter group. We'll see we'll have an empty group here. I'm going to call this degree to mins first. We'll add that existing degrees to radians value. And then we'll add a new numeric calculator. And it'll be multiply by 6. This is the calculation that we need for minutes and seconds. We'll go to our minute hand first. We'll go to update bind degrees to minutes. So now if we come back here and we go to 15, we'll see that it's now reacting as we would expect it to. Now we will create a new converter group for the hours. Again, we use the existing radians. We create a new numeric calculate, again multiply, but in this instance we'll multiply by 30. So then we come to the hand, update bind. I have not named it the proper thing, so I should call this degrees to hours to be organized. Update bind degrees to hours. So now we should expect everything to work except for the seconds, as I have not set up yet correctly. And hours we go. And as you can see, it's jumping around quite a lot. There is no sort of interpolation or easing between it. In order to solve that, what we're going to use is we're going to actually add an interpolator. So within the degrees to hour zone, we'll go to plus new numeric interpolator. And I set this to maybe be something like 750 milliseconds. We're going to just leave it at simple ease for now. So now, when we change the hours, you have a nice little ease there. It kind of ease. I would say that's maybe a bit too slow. And let's instead give it a bounce and put this to 0.75. So now we jump around. We can reuse that interpolator as well now for the minutes. So now we can plus existing interpolator 1, which is that one. And now when we update the minutes, nothing. As we'll see here now in the next few seconds, the reason we don't add the interpolator onto the seconds is that when it goes back to the start, it has to go all the way around. We'll see it now in 4, 3, 2, 1. So it jumps that way because it's going from 59 back to 0. Of course, it has to go the opposite way to get back to the start rather than switching over. So that's why I leave off the interpolator for the seconds. Just a quick addition that I forgot to mention earlier is that the transition between both are being controlled by a boolean, which I've set up here on hover to listeners here. So pretty straightforward, but we will need to reference this later. That's essentially it from the Rive side of things. So now we will export this, publish to Rive, and we're onto the coding side of things, which will be pretty straightforward. So don't worry if you've not done much coding or markup before. We've loaded our file in here to an HTML file, If you're not sure how to do that, check out the Rive's documentation. What is important to know is the source is the name of my .riv file that I've downloaded, and just make sure your artboard is matched up to the name that you give in your artboard. In order to get our time, we're going to use a function within the code here, and I've started to set it up here. So I said set interval check time. Check time is what we're going to call the function, and where we're going to put all our lines in now in a minute, and then check time 1000. That means it'll check once every second, which is very important for a block, obviously. So within the function here, check time, we are going to say let VMI, view model instance, be equal to or dot view, capital M, capital I, view model instance. Parentheses. Just make sure to check your spelling, and or is what we've defined our new Rive file up here. So whatever you call it there, you can change for it. And we're going to add in the on hover boolean that we created for the hovering in and out. So VMI dot boolean, and open those parentheses, bracket, open close brackets, and this is what should be the name that you've given it within Rive. Then we go constant on over value is equal to, so I would help, on over dot right 24. But we're going to get the times through JavaScript. So we're going to create a variable let time be equal to get new date, open close stellar, open close parentheses, let sec equal to time dot get seconds. Let new time dot get minutes. Open close parentheses. And for the hour, there is a slight variation. So we say time dot get hours plus, and don't forget to open close parentheses, min divided by 60. Oops, 60. And the reason we do this is that an hour hand doesn't stay exactly on the hour for that entire hour. So if we think of a quarter to an hour or 45 minutes past the hour, that hand will be closer to the upcoming hour rather than the preceding hour. So if we put that little extra bit in, that'll help us get that in between values rather than have it just immediately jump to the next hour. Now we're going to use an if statement to check the live value times. So we say if, open close parentheses, on hover dot value is equal to, and that's 2 equals true, do this. So we will say VMI dot number, open close, let's say we will say time sec, which is what we've defined in Rive, dot value is equal to sec. And we'll say VMI dot number, this will be for, this will be for the minutes. And then finally VMI dot number, open close parentheses, don't forget the quotation marks, time hour dot value is equal to hour. That say if when I'm hovering, it should be the lifetime, which it currently is. If we can see it lifetime up here, there we go. And now to get back to that 1010, we'll go else, open close brackets, and I'm just going to copy and paste for speed. VMI, I think the minutes, VMI minute is equal to 10, and then we'll say VMI hour, it's also equal to 7. And that's it essentially. You know, with a few lines of code and the correct data setup, we can create this little clock here that can live anywhere on your site and animates in between different states.